Hello, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Four Verticals Podcast. I'm your host, Maurice Phipps, and this is the first episode that I'm going to be putting on my YouTube channel. So if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and do all that bullshit so you can see the next episodes in your sub box when they appear. Just thank you if you're watching this or if you're listening to it anywhere. I'm going to try to keep these more consistent as this is going to be the first episode going up on YouTube. And yeah, we don't got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to make this episode a little shorter, maybe like 30 minutes or so. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out the way. Before we get into the topics I want to discuss, I wanted to speak about the University of Virginia shooting on the night of November 13th. This is coming straight from Google. On the night of November 13th, 2022, a shooting occurred at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia, in which 3 people were killed and 2 others were injured. 4 of the victims, including the 3 who died, were members of the University of Virginia football team. I would like to bring their names up. Just give me 1 second to pull that up. The 3 football players that unfortunately passed away due to wounds they sustained during the shooting, their names were Lavelle Davis Jr., Deshaun Perry, as well as Devin Chandler. So I would just like to say rest in peace to those 3 individuals. It's very, very upsetting that they were allegedly, killed by one of their former teammates. It was reported the day after that the suspect is in custody, so they do have who they believe to have shot up the bus that they were on. But it's just a very extremely unfortunate situation. I found out about this when the morning after I was getting some food, and then I scroll on Twitter and they shot up University of Virginia. I was expecting it to be something regarding one of the classrooms or something, but for us to come to find that it was, what looked to be a targeted attack is just a very extremely unfortunate situation. My heart goes out to everybody affected. Of course, rest in peace to the 3 gentlemen who died. Again, their names are, give me 1 second while I find those again. Their names are Lavelle Davis Jr., Deshaun Perry, as well as Devin Chandler. So I would just like to say rest in peace to those 3. Yeah, I'm sorry I had to start the episode on such a somber note, but I would be remiss to not mention this and speak on it and give my condolences to the families of everyone involved, as well as to not show my support to everyone else who was on the bus at the time, because that's a situation you never want to envision yourself being in, and I couldn't even imagine being in myself. So again, my thoughts are with everybody who was involved, and hopefully justice can be served soon. To move on from that to slightly more positive note, going back to just regular sports, the Eagles, they lost their undefeated streak against the Commanders, and I watched this game while I was at work. So here are my thoughts. First off, I didn't see the Eagles going undefeated anyway. I assumed they would take a loss here and there. I believe in my last episode, I predicted that they'd lose within the coming weeks, within the next few weeks. And it just so happens that they lost this week, or they lost last week. So what does this mean for the Eagles? Is their season over? Obviously not. I've seen people overreacting to the loss, and it's been a lot. One thing that we have to realize, the NFC East, as much as we like to dog on them and shit on them, they're actually pretty damn good this year. Even the Commanders, who started off really, really bad, but they've picked it up in recent weeks. They picked it up, and they have been a competitive team. So now, what does this mean for the Eagles? Nothing yet. I believe they play the Colts this week, and by my accounts, they should still win that game. I know that they just lost to the Commanders, who aren't the greatest team, but the Colts are absolutely terrible, and I still think that the Eagles are like a very, very good team. They might not be the best team in the league anymore, but they're probably within the top 2, I'd say. I'd maybe go Chiefs, then Eagles, just to throw a few teams out there. But hey, I don't think Eagles fans have cause for concern yet. Again, it's only their first loss. I've been seeing people compare them to the Arizona Cardinals. When did they go, like, what, 9-0 last year, and then they just like went on a crazy losing streak. And then who else? I think that it was the Steelers that went like 11-0, and they had like a cupcake ass schedule, and then they just like fell apart at the end. And I think they lost in the first round after they because I don't remember exactly how it went, but I know they didn't win a playoff game that year. It might have been against the Browns that they lost, or was that last year? I don't know. I might be getting my years mixed up, but I don't think this Eagles team is so similar to those teams just yet. Obviously, we could, see the Eagles after this loss. They turn around and their season's fucked. But I don't think that's how that's gonna work. It came out yesterday that they signed Ndamukong Suh, which is all right, I guess. He's not really a needle mover at this point in his career, but hey. It's unfortunate that Jordan Davis got hurt. I would love to see this Eagles defense with Jordan Davis at that D-tackle position, but I'm not sure when he is available to get off IR, and I'm not sure how willing the Eagles are going to be to throw rookie Jordan Davis, fresh off of whatever injury he sustained, I forget, back into the lineup, even though, this defensive front is rolling, and like, they're secondary. They rolling, so that he can get a little bit of help from the secondary and maybe, cause a little mayhem. But I'm not so sure that that's the direction that they'd want to go. If anything, they'd probably limit him when he comes back from IR. Either that or just not play him at all and try to get him as fully healthy as possible. And in that case, I wouldn't expect to see him line up for but a few snaps a game, if any. So yeah, that's my take on the Eagles. They probably still the best team in the. Nah, I'm not even gonna say probably. They're still the best team in the NFC. I don't think anybody's better than them in the NFC, at least. What else? The MVP of the league, if the season ended right now, the MVP would probably be Patrick Mahomes, which, great. Another Patrick Mahomes MVP. We all needed that. I'm a little salty because I'm a Ravens fan, and it's just like, this motherfucker again. Like, what can't he do? He's so damn good, it hurts. And I've never had this much just like pure disdain. Actually, no, that's a lie. Another player that I had like the most purest, like, I don't like this player because they too good. LeBron, when he was on the Heat, that's like one of the only sports player. I was gonna say sports player. That's one of the only athletes that I really, really did not like no matter what they did. And it wasn't because they were bad. It was because they were way too good. So yeah, Patrick Mahomes gives me Miami Bron vibes, and I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. But how the fuck did I let Patrick Mahomes derail this conversation? He's in my head rent free. Speaking about some other shit that's in my head rent free, I want to talk about my Chicago Bulls, man. We suck right now, and it's very, very difficult to pinpoint one particular reason why we suck. I can name a few. I'm done blaming all of our losses on Lonzo's injury. I was never one of those Bulls fans to begin with, but it's very annoying trying to see like, hey, We still don't know what this team is like at 100% because we don't have Lonzo. Yeah, we don't have Lonzo, but that's the least of our problems right now. Our defense is not good. We cannot guard the three-point line to save our fucking lives. I hate that. We also can't shoot. That is a problem being exacerbated by Lonzo Ball being out of the lineup because he was our best shooter. What else? Zach LaVine has gotten off to a slow start to the season, and it's making me question, like, hey, bro, like I went up the bat for you when, people was trying to say you and all that. Like, I do believe that Zach LaVine is one of those top shelf guys. Unfortunately, I don't think his role right now is, I don't think he is being utilized properly in his role right now. Whenever I watch Bulls games, there's a few things that I always make sure to take note of. I take note of where Zach LaVine is in our half-court sets when we bring the ball up court with Ayo Dosunmu or DeMar DeRozan. 9 times out of 10, he's gonna be parked in the corner, and he's not gonna get to touch the ball unless it's like one of those times where, like, hey, Zach, you do something now. So that's one thing I noticed. He's parked in the corner way too much. I don't know why we have the most athletic player on our team relegated to a spot-up shooter at times, but hey, that's fine, I guess, because he can shoot the three. At least not this season. He started off pretty cold, but he'll pick it up soon. I hope. Another thing that I noticed, Vucevic, he gets way too many shots up. Now, this doesn't apply to like the most recent game they played against the Pelicans. This is actually gonna like hurt my point if you look specifically at that game, right? But I've noticed that the order of who gets the most shots up, it goes DeMar DeRozan, who gets the most shots, and then typically goes Vooch, who gets the second most amount of shots, and then it's Zach LaVine. In my opinion, Zach LaVine should be getting the most shots out of everybody on the team, and I think that our offense would run a lot smoother if we made Zach LaVine the primary scoring target, threat, whatever on our team. Unfortunately, he's not doing that because for whatever reason, it might be him still coming back from injury, even though I highly doubt that, and I'm not going to put that on Zach LaVine as to why he's been underperforming, at least somewhat, to start the season off. Damn it, where was I? Oh, and our offensive sets consist of isolation with DeMar DeRozan, isolation with Zach LaVine, and he probably won't do anything with it. He'll probably give it back off to DeMar, who takes a contested mid-range, and he shoots 50% on those, but like, we can't make that our entire offense. Patrick Williams, I will say, I have seen improvement this season, so he's not really a cause for concern. And I actually, I have watched him become more productive in his role, and so I am happy with how he's progressing. Of course, I'd like to see him progress a little more, but I'm fine with how Patrick Williams is playing. He started off the season really, really bad though. Those first like 2-3 games, he was not good. But I have seen improvement. Ayo Dosunmu, I have seen improvement. I like him as our starting point guard choice with Lonzo Ball out. Andre Drummond, he's been big off the bench. Goran Dragic, he's been our best bench player, surprisingly enough. And I was critical of that move because it was like, we have a lot of guards already, but having Dragic does help out with the playmaking when Ayo is not on the floor. He's a very, very good passer. What else can I bring up with the Bulls? This is not me wanting to shit on the Bulls. It's just like some things that I've noticed, and I think that it's a little bit, not even a little bit, I think that it's concerning. I know we're early in the season, but I want to see this team do well. I think that I projected this team to be like a 6 seed, and right now I think we're like 10th or whatever. Granted, the standings are very close, and like 2 games can boost you way up in this the standings. But no, right now we're the 12th seed with a 6-9 record. That's not like, what are we doing? Again, granted, The 76ers have a 7-7 record, and they're the 9th seed. The Pacers and the Wizards are in the playoffs. I don't think that those teams are going to stay in the playoff picture, but we have to pick it up. We are 3 games under 500 now. We pretty safe from the 13 spot, but we fighting with the 76ers, Heat, and Nets for the 9, 10, 11, and 12 seed. Like, that's crazy to me. Do I have anything else that I want to get off my chest about the Bulls? Nah, probably not. If I do, I'll make an actual video on it and put it up on the channel discussing my problems with the Bulls and the way they play. Let's talk about some more basketball. Steph Curry, he dropped 50 points, and the Warriors still lost. That makes them 12th seed in the Western Conference with a 6-9 record. I watched this game. The Warriors absolutely could not guard the 3-point line, and that is concerning. Why? Because there hasn't been so much change from their lineup. If I look at, well, no, that's false. If I look at who they lost Otto Porter Jr., they lost Gary Trent. No, they're not Gary Trent. Gary Payton II. And who else did they lose? They lost somebody else, but I can't think of it right now. But their defense has just been like non-existent. And Klay Thompson, he struggled this season. Jordan Poole, besides from the game he just played, I think it was 2 games ago, where he didn't miss a shot, he struggled, and it doesn't look good for the Warriors. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Warriors will most likely be fine. They might not be like a 1 seed like I predicted, but I think they'll make the playoffs. But it is concerning seeing the defending champions as the 12th seed when they under the teams like the Thunder, the Timberwolves, and the fucking Kings. Like, that's and the Jazz. Like, that's a little worrisome. I wouldn't put too much stock into anything just yet. Again, we are still early in the season, and they have played 15 games. I know this, but like, you got to nip these things in the bud early before they become problems later on in the season, which is why I'm so adamant about, hey, we need to fix things in Chicago right now. Also, I didn't bring up one thing that I wanted to bring up. My patience with Billy Donovan is running a little thin, because I don't necessarily think he's a good coach when it comes to rotations and shit like that. I hate his rotations. He doesn't really make adjustments. Not that we have the personnel to make crazy adjustments, but he doesn't make them anyway. I don't like how his offense runs almost exclusively through DeMar DeRozan, and then it's like, oh, we also have Zach LaVine here. You can do something now. I don't like that. Granted, that's going to be an issue with Lonzo Ball being out, because he was really the one who initiated, and I really, really, really liked it when he brought the ball up the court, and we had DeMar and Zach on either end. But, you know, now it's Ayo's going to take the ball up the court, and Ayo's not as aggressive as a shooter as Lonzo would be. So he's not going to pull up for a 3 that Lonzo would maybe see as a little more contested than Ayo. He's not going to do that. He's more than likely going to pass it off, and it's going to lead to more ISO. And it's also going to lead to ISO, and to give it to Vooch in the post, and he do something. And Zach LaVine doesn't get the ball that possession. Enough about the Bulls, though. Enough about the Bulls. Moving on from basketball in general, Israel Adesanya loses his middleweight championship to Alex Pereira in the 5th round with 2 minutes left. So that's two titles that have changed in the 5th round. Kamaru Usman, he got his ass knocked out with like a minute or so left in the 5th, and he was winning that fight handily. I looked up the scorecards from the most recent UFC event, and all of them had Israel Adesanya up 3-1. They all had Israel Adesanya losing the second round and Alex Pereira picking that up. But besides that, if Israel Adesanya had not got knocked out, it looks like he would have retained. So that's crazy. We've seen a lot of instability in UFC with a bunch of the championships. A lot of people were like, hey, when is Israel Adesanya going to lose? Is he going to lose? Is he going to, retire as champion, even though he's nowhere near close to retiring? But, people were having that talk because it was like these dominant reigns. Who's going to be the one to take him out? Kamaru Usman. People saying the same thing. People were actually opening the GOAT conversation to, his welterweight status. They were saying he potentially could open up that GOAT conversation within welterweights. And then Leon Edwards shut that shit down immediately with a kick to the head. That kick, by the way, was so it couldn't have landed more perfectly. I think that if he caught a little bit less of that, he probably wouldn't even have knocked Usman out. He caught him flush with his shin. That was a beautiful kick, by the way. But yeah, we've been seeing a lot of instability as of recent. Hopefully we can see some more instability, because I like, as much as I like dominant title reigns, I like it when these things get mixed up. I like it when championships change hands. I like upsets in fights and shit like that. Hopefully we can see the return of Francis Ngannou to the octagon soon. I don't know whether that will be against John Jones, because we still don't really have word on when he's gonna return or anything like that. I don't know, but it's good to see instability in the UFC. Instability for combat sports is always good. Is always good. Moving on to the final little bit of piece of news that I want to talk about. Paul Goldschmidt and Aaron Judge win National League and American League MVPs, respectively. I don't watch baseball too much like that, but Bleacher Report had Aaron Judge every single home run from midway through the season. They sent me a notification for every single one, and I was invested in him breaking Roger Maris's record. And when he did, I was happy for him. So it's good to see Aaron Judge win AL MVP. The MLB had also announced other awards. Let me bring those up. Let's just recognize all of the MLB awards that were given out. All right. I said AL MVP. I said ML MVP. Justin Verlander won the American League Cy Young Award. Sandy Alcantara won the National League Cy Young Award. Rookie of the Year, American League Rookie of the Year, Julio Rodriguez. The National League Rookie of the Year, Michael Harris II. American League Manager of the Year goes to Terry Francona. National League Manager of the Year goes to Buck Showalter. And Aaron Judge won the American League Hank Aaron Award, as well as Paul Goldschmidt winning the National League Hank Aaron Award. I'm not going to go on to Gold Glove and Silver Sluggers because I really don't know what those mean. Oh, I forgot one. Justin Turner won the Roberto Clemente Award. So those are the MLB awards. I'm not going to go over the Gold Glove and the Silver Slugger because that's a lot. And again, I don't really watch baseball like that. But I didn't want to recognize the award winners because, that's something of note. That's something notable. So I wanted to get those, give them their recognition. I know I cut this episode a little short, but hey, you can't really blame me for that. Pokemon Violet's out. I want to go play that. So I'm going to go play that. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. I'll be back next week after Thanksgiving and with another episode. So appreciate it. You guys have a good one.